Hey guys, ChaosFX back once again with another PvP video. This one is going to be on zoning. Alright, so I know I've touched on it in the individual move videos. I may have mentioned a thing or two about zoning and how to deal with people who are not at melee. I noticed that most of my guide is about people at melee because that is where I prefer to fight. And I kind of blow it off as, hey, you know, if you've played PvE, you know how to zone, because that's what you do to monsters and bosses. But, you know, I may have taken it a bit for granted, and I get a lot of compliments on my zoning ability, so I will go ahead and talk about it. Couldn't really figure out a good way to do this. I don't really... Again, the 30% my videos recorded, the rest not. I don't have any good videos of me just completely zoning and cleaning up. Zoning usually happens after all hope is lost in other ways, so it's usually one of my sessions I record less of than normal. Like, I'll record a few wins and I'll get some awesome things here and there. But every once in a while I'll just be like, alright, I'm just gonna zone this guy. And it works about 50% of the time. Launchers have some of the best zoning in the game. It's not permanent though, it's all like gunfire. So without further ado, I guess the best way to do this, I was trying to think about that. I suppose I'm gonna have to do it with the APC here. The problem with zoning and APC is that they're very unpredictable. When I was doing the videos before, I was having major problems with the APC because, like, they would just randomly do things that players wouldn't. Like, you saw there, he stopped in the middle of a combo, and instead of continuing it, he decided to heal or something, whatever he was casting. So that presents me with a number of issues. So anyway, maybe him in the barrels will do it. Okay, so let's talk about zoning. Zoning is just the concept of keeping somebody away from you by putting a bunch of damage between you and them. It's kind of the, I told you about the backstep cancel, where you do that at close range. This is the long range version. Now right now, I think the AI is actually triggered to not come at me if I have Eagle Eye up and it can't see me, because this is the second time I've kind of frozen him up like this. But anyway, when Eagle Eye is up, you have incredible zoning capability. So just keep in mind that most people cannot find you if you're zoning with Eagle Eye. So let's go to it. Alright, Cannonball, one of its best moves, and the reason that I pretty much always keep it on cooldown is it is great for zoning. It's one of our best zoning moves. It fires a large X, Y, and Z axis and knocks people down. Let me get a steep slide up here. If you hit somebody with Cannonball, you can actually come in and get them in a barbecue on the ground combo. So that's why it's really one of the most dangerous moves. Another thing is, I don't know, you know, again, it's the NPC, I can't really predict what he's going to do, but let's say he's going to jump, because he likes to jump a lot. Oop. He could just knock me out of it with his awesome Zumbato range. But if he goes ahead and jumps, let's say that hit him, that would have bounced him right into a barbecue and started my combo. So it's a really great anti-air move. There we go. And of course my barbecue wasn't ready there because I just used it. But one of the best uses for it is to catch people in it that way. Now the long range zoning is a lot easier because you have a lot more moves. Gatling, Fire Pillar, Stare, Laser, all great zoning moves. I got to kind of get them off screen, I guess. Okay, so he's off screen. I hit him there. Normally players will go to the area that's widest open if they don't know where you are. So what I like to do for zoning, and this is why, I don't know, maybe I'll get some clips up, but it's more likely you're just going to see me do it in combat later. Sorry I won't have any really good concrete examples on what I'm doing here. But I'll just have to describe it to you, and maybe that'll be good enough. Alright, so imaginary battle time. You're fighting somebody, you hit them with a stare. You move down, you start firing a Gatling, but wait until they're unstun locked so the first bullets don't come on the screen until they are able to move down. People will normally just keep going back and forth, up, down, up, down. And as they get closer and closer, you start saving some of your bigger moves. So basically Stare is a great first poke, then Gatling, which is an excellent follow-up. Flamethrower will usually catch them because by now they'll probably try to get into some crazy combo. If they still haven't come toward you, laser them. Laser is more power than actual zoning. It's probably the whole reason to zone in the first place. I talked about rook checkmating in the laser video. And that's one of the greatest uses for it, is when you're doing all this zoning, if you can catch a laser, that's it. That's how you win the game. So be aware of just about what their distance is, and the fact that they can't see you with Eagle Eye. That is probably the biggest advantage we have in zoning. And like I said, I like the laser combo because if it's somebody who's easily zoned, some people are easier than others, it sends them away from you to the other side of the screen, and you can hit them with like 100 moves before they get back. Alright, so I guess that should about do it for zoning. Sorry I don't have any clips, but you guys get the idea. I mean, this NPC, if he were not moving randomly, he would run up here and try to kill me. Then he would run down here and try to kill me. And I'm not just, saying like, oh, this worked in one fight. I have had people who I have perfectly predicted their movement, and it just has to do with playing so many games. You have a pretty good idea what they're going to do. So the main thing about zoning is actually cooldown management, which is all PvE stuff. You fire a cannonball, you gotta realize that's on cooldown. You fire a Gatling, you gotta realize that's on cooldown. So you need to use your flame pillar if you're in another place to use a Gatling. And Gatling is one of our strongest moves. So if you can catch somebody in a on-the-ground Gatling, like I said before, they try to get out of it, and they're usually pretty darn successful. But say they don't, I've had some people that, for one reason or another, they landed in a horizontal Gatling here. And you could just see from Dale, Dale has like 8 times normal people's health. I've gotten people, I think it's in one of the videos actually, the PvP 5. You can see Doggo Dog. He's hanging out on the top here in the middle of a brawl, and I like to go for people in the corner. So I unleash laser, fire a stare just in case he's trying to move, and then I just unleash the Gatling. He walks right into it. He was at half health. Now this is like, this guy was high rank, he is a berserker, he had really good defense, and he was at half health just because he got stuck against the wall. And that was kind of the reason, for the most part. I mean, if you can get people against the wall with your zoning, then you're best. I know zoning is kind of a longer range thing, but, oh, that's the other thing. I guess I'll throw this into the end of the video. I'm getting ready to wrap up here. People have said that launchers stay against the wall and just press every button and profit, Find wall, put back against it, press all buttons, profit. Not quite the case. I'm the one who always has to disagree and say that launchers are safest right where I'm standing right now. You got a pretty good distance of the screen in front of you. You've got a lot of room to move back, so you can do your backstep cancels. And you're about midway on the screen. Now, male launchers luckily have their, their sat beam in PvE, so they're actually probably not used to this sweet spot I'm talking about. They probably are in it a lot, more rarely than their female counterparts. As a female launcher, pretty much all of you should probably be at about this range, unless you're using a kick build. A kick build would be like this range. And then you got sufficient kicks and hit to not, get your butt handed to you by being at that range anyway in PvE. Not in PvP. So anyway, so that's where you get all the practice for that. But for me, I always try to keep the NPCs at about this range right here. Because, when I lose them, when the camera comes back over here, they're not going to go that far away. And then, we get the little, male launcher funness of being able to see the arrows in PvP. So it just becomes this complete slaughter at mid-range.